What do you do when you hit a wall? And we're not talking here about crashing into a wall in your car. We're saying psychologically, emotionally, physically, when we hit a wall, what do we do? And this is a question that's been very live for me, because in the last week or so, I hit a wall. It got to the point where I just had nothing left. I had nothing left to give greater life. I had barely anything left to give my children. And I didn't really even know how to do more than put food on the table and try to stop the house from descending into utter chaos. Anything beyond that was usually a step too far most days. And that said, for an organisation that I help out, I still managed to close about 40 grand's worth of sales. So, like, it wasn't a total wall, but it was a pretty significant one. There were mornings where I would wake up and my body would just lie me back down again. And that's always an indication for me, anyway, that my system is pretty fried. So I've been with this of, there's everything from the kind of toxic, just do what's required, through to total rest and shutdown, right? And so for me, I've come up with, I think, 3 ways that we can respond when we hit a wall. And they're probably all going to be needed at various points. And so the first is that sometimes we are going to have no choice but to find a way to break through the wall. Now, this is not a consistent thing that we can do. This is like, we need to really know. I can't speak for we. I can only speak for me. I need to really know that, okay, today I have to break through this wall. And I know it's going to use up reserves of reserves. Like, if I've hit a wall, I'm already in my reserves and then some. Okay? So the choice to break through this wall today is one that I do not take lightly. And yet, I always come back to something that David Goggins said, who is this crazy former Marine / Army Ranger who is very kind of famous on the podcast circuit for being super in control of his mind and turning around his life and all that. And he is genuinely inspirational. And he went from being, crazily overweight to, I think, doing like 3 Ironmans in a row or something, right? And he said one of his biggest lessons was that when you think you're done, you're only at about 40% of what you're actually capable of. And it occurs to me now as I speak that many marathon runners and ultra-marathon runners will talk about hitting the wall and then finding levels of energy, ecstasy and flow out the other side. That they go beyond the wall and they find almost like a new energy source out the other side. So what that shows is that beyond what we probably think is the wall, we can go again. We can find a way to, if we need to, today, break through this wall. But for me, it's not a decision I take lightly to choose that option. If I'm at a wall, the chances are, if I long-term want to rise and be energized and be productive and be powerful, I'm going to have to allow myself some time to rest. Which comes to the second way that we can respond to a wall, which is we can choose to sit down beside the wall and use it as a backrest, to just take some time to rest. Depending on the type of wall, we may even climb on top of it and lie on top of the wall and rest on the wall. And we may use it as a windbreak, as a shelter, so that our rest is even more complete. You get the picture that one of the ways we can respond to a wall is to accept there is a wall there, and take a moment to rest a while, to allow our system to recharge so that we can come back stronger. And that's also a process that's ongoing for me. Mike, my beloved business partner for Greater Life, there have been times when we've both hit walls and we've both supported each other. I think the process of starting any startup is going to ensure that walls are hit. And so can you as a team navigate with each other when those moments occur for team members? And so, eternally grateful for Mike that he just said, look, I'll pick up the reins and, you do what you need to do to get back in your flow, back in your zone. And what I've noticed is that there is like a chomping at the bit inside of me to get cracking again. And at the same time, when I do, sometimes my capacity is not what it once was. It's almost like I'm building up my fitness again. And so to recognize for me, and I can't speak for you, but I'm just sharing what has worked for me, that there are times when I'm up and going at it, and then I'm recognizing, okay, I need to sit and rest for a while. And those moments of rest are more frequent at the moment because I'm coming out the other side of hitting the wall. And perhaps the final way that we can respond to a wall brings together both the decision to break through the wall and the decision to sit and rest against the wall for a while, to recharge. And that is to get curious. Get curious about the nature of the wall. Why have I hit this wall? What is this wall made of? Is this wall stress? Is this wall bricked with family expectations? Is this wall bricked with financial concerns? Is this wall put together thanks to old stories that no longer serve me? And so all of these can be ways to consider, what is this wall made of? And in the process of getting curious, alongside understanding what the wall is made of, well then, an equally valuable question could be, we'll just let this Jewson van go past. Alongside asking, what is this wall made of? How has this wall come to be? To ask, how could I deploy these materials more effectively? Could I take apart this wall carefully, diligently? And could I use these bricks that once were made of stress? Could I use them to create a greater life? Could I use these old stories as a source of new power? So, there we are. 3 ways we can respond to a wall. We can choose to break through. We can choose to rest a while. And we can choose to wonder, what is this wall made of? And how might I put its materials to better use? All right. Have a great day.